Alright, here's the deal. Florida wildlife crews had cameras rolling in the Everglades for one job. Catch pythons on tape, track M, hunt M down. Routine stuff, done it 1,000 times. Then, according to the account that started circulating out of one of these tracking teams, a single camera picked up something that had nothing to do with snakes at all. The story goes that the footage got passed around internally, and the person reviewing it didn't say much of anything for a good long while. We can't confirm every detail of that account, and we'll be upfront about that as we go. But the footage itself, and what a follow-up trip to that spot turned up, is worth walking through. That's what we're breaking down today. Stick with me. Quick reality check first, because this part is 100% documented. No hedging needed. The Burmese python situation in Florida is a genuine, well-documented ecological disaster. These snakes aren't native. They're from Southeast Asia. Most researchers agree the population exploded after pet pythons were released or escaped starting in the 80s and 90s, with a chunk of that tracing back to Hurricane Andrew in '92, when a breeding facility was destroyed and snakes got loose into the swamp. The numbers are brutal. U.S. Geological Survey data shows that in areas with heavy python presence, raccoon and opossum sightings dropped over 99%. Bobcat and rabbit populations collapsed in whole sections of the glades. These snakes have no natural predator here. They can grow past 18 feet, and one female can lay up to 100 eggs at a time. So the state responded big, radio-tagged scout snakes to lead hunters to breeding females, cash prize hunting contests, and trail cameras planted along known python corridors, running around the clock. That's the real, sourced backdrop this story sits inside. Everything in this section, you can verify yourself. Now, according to the account that's been circulating, one particular camera was posted up in a remote stretch of marsh, the kind of spot you can only reach by airboat. Techs swing by every so often to pull footage, log it, look for python patterns. Standard routine. On one check, per the story, the tech pulled the footage and it was mostly the usual. Herons, a gator sliding through frame, wind moving the sawgrass. Nothing notable. Then there's a clip from right before dawn. And supposedly, instead of getting logged like everything else, this particular clip got flagged and passed up the chain. We want to be clear here. We don't have an official record confirming this exact sequence of events. This is the reported version of how it played out. Keep that in mind as we go into the footage itself. Per the description that's been shared, the timestamp reads just before 5 a.m. Still dark. Infrared kicks on because something's moving in frame. And what shows up isn't a snake, isn't a gator, not anything on a typical checklist. It's described as low to the ground, moving in a way one person involved reportedly called off. Not injured, just faster and stranger than expected for that terrain. The account says the shape crosses several feet of open ground in under 2 seconds, then disappears, not off frame, but straight down into the mud. Now, to be completely straight with you, nobody has gone on record confirming exactly what that shape was, or even independently verified this footage exists in the form described. This is the part that stays genuinely open, and we're not going to dress that up as more certain than it is. What we can talk about is what a follow-up visit to that location reportedly found. According to reports, a team went back out to that general area sometime afterward and found a disturbed, roughly circular patch of ground. The description given was mud and root systems torn up in a tight ring pattern, different from a typical gator nest or python den, according to people familiar with the terrain. Beyond that, details get thin fast. Some accounts mention soil samples being taken. Whether any results were ever released publicly, we genuinely don't know, and we're not going to pretend otherwise. There are also claims floating around that tracking teams were pulled from that section of marsh for a stretch of time afterward. We want to flag clearly. We could not independently verify this claim, and any explanation attached to it, official or otherwise, should be treated as unconfirmed rumor, not established fact. Here's where we bring it back to solid ground. The most likely explanation, and the one grounded in how these cameras actually behave in swamp conditions, is a large python engaged in unusual burrowing or thermoregulation behavior, combined with a low-quality infrared artifact that can make normal movement look far stranger than it is. Trail cam glitches fooling even trained researchers isn't rare. It's a known limitation of the tech in humid, low-light environments. We looked, as far as public information goes, for anyone directly involved to confirm that explanation on record, and as of this video, nobody has. That doesn't mean something's being hidden. It just means, right now, there's no confirmed conclusion either way. So here's where we actually land. Rock solid, verifiable fact. Florida's python crisis is real, it's massive, and it's reshaping the Everglades food chain from the ground up. That part isn't in question. What's reported, but not independently confirmed. The specific footage, the ground disturbance, and a team being pulled from that area. What's genuinely unresolved? What that shape was, and whether any of the surrounding claims hold up to scrutiny. The honest answer is the available evidence isn't enough to reach a firm conclusion. It might be exactly what the leading science says, a big snake and a rough camera angle. Or it might be a detail about this ecosystem that hasn't been fully mapped out yet. Both stay on the table until there's something more solid to go on. That's not a cop-out. That's just where the evidence actually sits right now. If you're into us tracking down the next case the moment we find one worth your time, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. We're posting new investigations regularly. Drop your own take in the comments. We read all of them. And if this one had you hooked start to finish, send it to someone who'd get into it. Shadow Discovery out.